Tom Aspinall wants Stipe out of the UFC. Get Stipe out of there, Aspinall told TNT Sports. Let's be honest, the guy is 43 years old, he's had a 4-year layoff, and his last fight was a knockout loss. Granted, he's an absolute legend in this sport. He's the best heavyweight ever. Like, statistically, he's the best heavyweight ever. But the guy needs to be pulled out of the race. No one's that interested anymore, and I respect Stipe a lot. Pull him out, stick me in. It's right though, isn't it? It is right. I don't know what's happening next, Aspinall told MMA Fighting. That's kind of out of my hands. All I know is my next fight's going to be for an undisputed title. That's it. I won't do anything else. My next fight, I'll fight anybody as always, as I've done throughout my whole career. You can ask any of the UFC matchmakers that. But right now, I'm the best UFC heavyweight in the world, and I'm fighting for an undisputed title next. While some fighters have bristled at taking on a backup role rather than just getting a title fight, don't count Aspinall among them. At this point, he can't imagine a single scenario where he would back down from the chance to face Jones or Stipe in the octagon. Yep, I'll be there. I'll do that, Aspinall said about being the backup fighter. I'd fight them guys on an hour's notice if they needed me to. Listen, I could beat both of these guys, no problem. If I've got to do it on a day's notice, I can do it, easily. So I'll be there and savor the opportunity if it presents itself. Alexander Volkanovski makes his prediction for Adesanya du Plessis. Even after Israel Adesanya's unexpected decision loss to Sean Strickland and a long layoff from the octagon, Volkanovski thinks that Adesanya will return to Perth as a refreshed and improved fighter. I'm expecting a performance from Israel Adesanya, a proper performance like you've seen in the Paulo Costa fight, where he goes out and just does it in impressive fashion. Dricus is very awkward, unorthodox, and he's got awkward pressure, which is very hard for people to deal with, and we've seen awkward pressure from Strickland give Izzy problems, but that doesn't happen to Izzy twice. Volk suggested that even though Adesanya might have been caught off guard by Strickland's defensive pressure in their previous fight, he doesn't believe it will happen again. I don't think there's any surprises this time. He's going to be ready. I think Israel Adesanya is going to put on that type of performance where he gets a crazy finish, and that's saying something because Dricus is no joke. Izzy has to be careful of Dricus trying to take him down, because I reckon he's gonna have that freakish strength. He's got good darces and good chokes as well, so you're gonna have to be careful. Despite being out of the game for a while, many fans, including Volk, are expecting Adesanya to score a knockout win against DDP. Are you one of those fans? Do you think Izzy gets a spectacular finish? Eric Nicksick, who is widely considered to be one of the best MMA coaches in the entire sport, talked about an incident that happened between Khabib Nurmagomedov and the current welterweight champion Belal Muhammad during a training session at Khabib's gym. First, Eric talked about basic gym rules that Dagestani fighters follow. Quote, "There's no music, there's no bullshit. They're not there to talk with one another and joke around. You're there, and it's work from the moment you step on the mat until the moment you're off the mat." The newly crowned welterweight champion had a somewhat tense exchange with Khabib. Nicksick said, "One of the funny things too was Belal Muhammad brought a guest that wasn't cleared by Khabib, and Khabib was not happy about that. It was kind of like you could feel like he was joking, but he wasn't. He was serious about it, and Belal was like, 'Oh dude, I'm sorry,' and Khabib goes, 'I don't know who this guy is. The best part is Khabib and I are sitting there, and he kind of looks at me and he's like, Eric, are you gonna let a guy in your gym that you don't know, maybe he's fighting one of your guys?' Like, kind of just punking Belal in front of everybody, which was funny. Khabib still let the guy train, but there was a process to that. I felt like it was important. I've always heard that about AKA and Dagestani gyms where Khabib trains at. You have to be voted in if you're a guest. The team has to approve that, and I really like that mentality. Do you agree with Khabib and his decision to punk Belal in front of everybody? Like Eric Nicksick said, who do you think would have won in a fight between prime Khabib and the current welterweight champion? Merab Dvalishvilii explains the incident with Sean O'Malley's head coach, Tim Welsh. "We were just doing a face-off," Dvalishvilii told MMA Fighting. "They wanted us to face off without conversation. But of course, once I saw Sean, he was making fun of me. He was joking. 'Welcome to the big show.' And he said, 'Oh, have you ever been in the main event?' He was talking to me with sarcasm. I said, 'Yes, of course I've been in the main event before. Remember when I beat the shit out of Petr Yan?' He didn't like that. He said, 'Welcome to the big show. I've been here.'" The argument heated up when Dvalishvilii started targeting O'Malley's head coach, Tim Welch. Welch got involved in the drama after having a social media clash with Merab's teammate Aljamain Sterling. This all started when a video from O'Malley's title fight showed Welch yelling instructions at Sterling from the cage. Sterling then accused Welch of talking so much trash from the corner that the referee had to tell him to stay quiet. "I have a problem with his coach, Tim," Dvalishvilii said. "He was very disrespectful to me, and he was doing stupid stuff and not respectful things. Any real coach should never do that, whatever he was doing. Try do the same thing in basketball, or let's try to do the same thing in a football game. They will give you a disqualification. Only the UFC can you get out of this. Coach your guy, coach your fighter. Don't be disrespectful to the opponent. What kind of people does this? Only a snake person does this." Even now he's talking on his podcast, like making fun of my height, making fun of my nose. Even now, some fans said some stupid things. Nothing is real. He's making up some stories about me, which is not true. He deserves me to smack his face. That's what I told Sean O'Malley. "Hey Sean, tell your coach to shut his mouth." Because I was so pissed when I saw all these videos. How he does stupid things, how he talks stupid. I told him to shut his mouth. He said, "Oh, you should fight him." Bro, I'm talking a street fight. Dvalishvilii said, "You think I'm gonna go in the cage and I'm gonna have a referee and I'm gonna have rules there? I'm talking about when I see him, I'm gonna smack his face." O'Malley said, "He's bigger than you. That's why we have weight classes." I don't give a shit. I'm talking about man to man. I'm very pissed off. He deserves me to smack his face. Francis Ngannou steps back into the MMA spotlight this October. In April, Francis faced an unimaginable loss when his 15-month-old son Kobe passed away suddenly due to a medical emergency. The heartbreaking news came just a month after his knockout defeat to Anthony Joshua in a boxing match in Riyadh. Now Francis is preparing for his first MMA fight in nearly 3 years against Renan Ferreira at a PFL pay-per-view event on October 19th. In a recent interview with Sky Sports Boxing, Ngannou shared how returning to training is helping him cope with his grief and how his son's memory fuels his determination. "I need some activities," Ngannou said. "I need to stay active, to be in a zone that I belong to. Maybe that also will help or change. I also need to keep it going to fight for my boy, for Kobe." The past 3 months haven't been the easiest. Ngannou continued, "I think it has been by far the hardest shape in life since I lost my son. For some time, I felt like I didn't even have to do this, or questioning about if I should do it or fight again or something. But I know that my son had something good in his memory, and I wanted to do something good in his memory." Ngannou's last fight in the cage was at UFC 270, where he beat Cyril Gunn by unanimous decision to keep his UFC heavyweight title. After that, he got tangled up in a lengthy contract dispute with the UFC. After a year away from the sport, Ngannou finally secured his release, which allowed him to sign with PFL, and later take on high-profile boxing matches against Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua.